The night was heavy with smoke and neon as the old jukebox rattled in the corner of Jack's Roadhouse, a small biker bar tucked away at the edge of town. Jack, a single dad and Marine veteran, wiped down the counter with slow, deliberate movements. His life hadn't been easy. He had seen combat, lost friends overseas, and then came home to raise his little girl after his wife passed away. The Roadhouse was his sanctuary, the one place where he could keep moving forward while still holding on to the discipline, grit, and loyalty that had been forged in him during his service. That night, the door creaked open, and in walked two men who carried themselves with the unmistakable swagger of Hell's Angels. Their cuts were worn, their eyes sharp, and their presence turned heads in the dimly lit bar. Jack didn't flinch. He had seen tougher men in far worse places, but he noticed the way some of the other patrons shifted nervously. One wrong move and tension could spill into chaos. The Hells Angels took their seats quietly, ordering beers with a simple nod. But within minutes, a group of loud-mouthed bikers from a rival club swaggered in, sneering at the Angels. They made crude remarks, shoved one of them, and soon the air was thick with the threat of violence. Jack knew what was about to happen. He'd seen this moment countless times before, both in war and in bars, where one spark could ignite a fire that couldn't be put out. He stepped forward. His voice was firm, carrying the weight of command that only a Marine could muster. "Not in my house. You want to fight, you take it somewhere else. But not here." His words cut through the shouting like a blade. The rival bikers laughed at him at first. To them, he was just some washed-up soldier running a roadside bar. But when one of them shoved an angel again, Jack moved with precision. In one smooth motion, he had the aggressor's arm twisted behind his back and slammed him against the counter. The whole room froze. There was something in Jack's eyes that silenced them all, something they recognized as dangerous, unshakable, and real. The rival bikers backed down, muttering curses as they left, and the bar returned to uneasy calm. The Hells Angels gave Jack a nod of respect. He hadn't defended them because of who they were, but because he believed in fairness, in not letting bullies own the room. For Jack, it wasn't about colors or clubs, it was about principle. The night ended quietly, but Jack didn't know that word of his stand was already spreading like wildfire across the biker community. The next morning, as he pulled into the Roadhouse lot with his daughter in the passenger seat, his heart stopped. The entire parking lot was packed, wall to wall with bikes, chrome gleaming in the sunlight. Not a dozen, not 50, 200, and they weren't Hells Angels. They weren't rivals. They were lady bikers, women from all across the state who had heard about the Marine who stood up for fairness, the man who didn't judge and didn't back down. They had come not to fight, but to stand with him. His small roadhouse, once a quiet stop for drifters, now overflowed with leather jackets, laughter, and roaring engines. His daughter looked at him wide-eyed, whispering, "Dad, they're all here for you." Jack stepped outside, and a hush fell over the crowd of women. One of the leaders, a tall woman with a scar across her cheek and a fearless smile, stepped forward and shook his hand. "We heard what you did. Men like you are rare, Marine. You didn't just protect those two, you reminded us what loyalty means. You reminded us what standing up looks like." For the first time in a long time, Jack felt something he hadn't felt since his days in uniform. The weight of a brotherhood, or rather, a family, that had his back. The lady bikers stayed, filling the bar with energy and stories. They brought food, music, and laughter. They helped repaint the Roadhouse, hung new lights, and made the place more alive than it had ever been. What had once been a fading bar suddenly became the heart of a community, all because one man chose to stand up when it would have been easier to stay quiet. Weeks passed, and Jack's daughter often sat on the steps of the bar, watching the women ride in and out like guardians of the road. She felt safe, she felt proud, and for the first time since her mother's death, she saw her father smile in a way that was real. The Roadhouse wasn't just surviving anymore, it was thriving. Jack often thought back to that moment when he put his hand on the biker's arm and stopped a fight. He realized that small choices, simple acts of courage, could ripple out further than anyone imagined. Sometimes, all it took was standing up for what was right to inspire an army to stand with you. As the sun set one evening and the lady bikers prepared for another ride, Jack stood on the porch of his Roadhouse, his daughter by his side, and raised his voice. "Thank you all for showing me that family isn't just blood. It's loyalty. It's respect. And it's standing shoulder to shoulder when the world tries to push you down." The engines roared in unison, a thunderous promise that his words would not be forgotten. And as the crowd cheered, his daughter tugged his arm and whispered, "Dad, you're not just a Marine anymore. You're their hero too. So if you believe in courage, in loyalty, and in the kind of strength that brings people together, don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Because stories like Jack's remind us that no matter how broken life may seem, one brave choice can change everything."